What's wrong, Annie?
I killed them. I killed them all. They're dead. Every single one of them. And not just the men, but the women. And the children, too.
Oh, Canada, what the actual fuck? All right. Well, if you guys don't know, Mark Carney is now allowing for kids to be euthanized.
Patriotism is dead. There's only rebels and tyrants now.
A world ready for the righteous and the pure to inherit.
Don't believe in surrenders. No, I still got my saber, Reverend. Didn't turn it into no plowshare, neither.
I'm taking over this territory.
So how did we get here? The slippery slope. Let me tell you how we got here. The Canadian state and socialized healthcare advocating for the euthanization of children and teens. So, slippery slope started with first step. This was being that the states can take people's children if they didn't agree with the gender ideology or LGBTQIA. So the Canadian state, if you voice your opinion heavily enough against their ideology, they can take your children, like Child Protective Services here in the United States. And not only that, if the child says something or insinuates something, they can now take the seized child that they've taken from the parents and without their consent, have her go through sexual reassignment surgery. And now we're here at the third spot where the Canadian government and socialized healthcare can euthanize a child or teen. Now, if it's one thing if an adult chooses in pain or for whatever reason to end their life, that's, if it was private Medicare or whatever, that's their choice, but we're not. What this is child sacrifice and killing with the face and the illusion that it's for the children. Oh, this is child sacrifice. Mark Carney is a sick, just piece of shit. And on the bottom here, it says, according to a 2023 IPSOS poll, 71% of people across Canada support the ability for mature minors to request and be considered for MAID if all other criteria are met under the law. So I don't know what the fuck you Canadians are doing up there. You guys need to find Christ, because your country is falling to quite literally the prince of darkness, Satan, or Lucifer himself. This is evident of this. And it's so evil. I saw this on X, and this has me concerned because not only, so what stops Canadian healthcare and the Canadian government starting MAID against political opponents, right? Because they're too misinformed, they're too diseased of the mind, and they're suffering. We need to kill them. And we need to kill their children because they too are diseased and don't accept our woke ideology. Oh, we need to euthanize and kill the parents and the child. That's where this is leading. And the liberals or demon-possessed Satan worshippers who are for this, again, to rephrase, the Canadian government can take your children without your consent if you have opposing views to LGBTQIA or gender ideology. Then they can subjugate child without parents' consent for sexual reassignment surgery and mutilation. And then now the third, they can choose to kill your child and institute death to your child. So the ultimate evil will always target children and the innocent. And there's no more people who are more innocent than children and sick people. So this is the most evil facing thing. And the fact that 71% of people across Canada suggest, like, we're for this, God help you. This is about my 10th to 8th time trying to film this. And I'm literally sick to my stomach and perturbed. And you Canadians, you Europeans, well, look down your long nose at us and say, guns culture. You know, as terrible as that is, it's usually as a result from a child who is from a broken home on SSRIs and psychotropic drugs that is somehow engineered for whatever purposes, I believe, to commit these atrocities. But you know what? At least, grill us on that. But at least here in America, we're not for the euthanization of children and teens. Nor does our state steal your children and force them or offer or implant the idea for children to be mutilated. Say what you want about me. Say what you want about the United States. But we're not as fucked up as... But this is, again, has to be said, child sacrifice and general evil with the fine veneer of making it seem like it's mercy and a kindness and disguised as healthcare. There's no difference between what this shit is and what 71% of Canadians versus what Adolf Hitler was doing when he had mentally retarded children and probably autistic children and people who were mental defects or handicapped killed. This is no different. But you guys, again, it's amazing the evil you fuckers can justify with a fine veneer of mercy. It's Medicare. Woo! The same thing old Uncle Adolf was doing. That was Medicare by the state too. But it's just absurd to me how every day, how these people will scream and screech against more Nazis, right? When you're advocating for the termination of the most innocent thing of this world, children and sick people. To even suggest this idea. And I get it, the idea of children suffering is disgusting. But life is sacred. I don't see how a nation like Canada could get to this point. Are you guys just that deranged up there? Has that cold weather fucking turned your brain into a slushy? Anyways, that's my 2 cents on it. It's fucking absurd. It is Warhammer 40k levels of just what the fuck, like almost child sacrifice, and I can't. Again, the ironic thing about this is the people who support this, again, are the same ones that say Nazi this, Nazi that, fascist this, fascist that, when you're literally following in the same footsteps as Adolf Hitler when he was putting mentally retarded people to death, autistic to death, handicapped people to death. And that was on, of course, again, this has to be iterated, on behalf of the state and state's Medicare. So you guys, it's just weird, like, are you guys against Nazis and fascism? Because if that's the case, you sure are doing the same exact shit. But hey, and at this point, if the people who are for this shit, why do we even have cancer research? Why do we even donate to St. Jude's? If it's all probability and chance, why don't you just start euthanizing every sick poor bastard with 50% or more probability that they're gonna die? Life is fickle, but there's miracles that happen and there's miracles that don't. And far be it from me to understand or try and bring that, but again, this has to be prefaced, and I have to morally call this out, that the most evil in the world will always target the most innocent children, minors, and the sick, and that's what this is. This is child sacrifice and human sacrifice with a veneer and face of healthcare and mercy. And Mark Carney is a sick piece of shit. And by and large, 71% of you Canadians are some sick bastards. You know how Trump was saying we should add you as a 51st state? I hope he doesn't. I want the United States to be as away from you and your sick, fucked up ideology. I do not want the United States to be associated with people like you. Not only that, with people who want to seize the Second Amendment, and we don't need to pollute our country with more of that thinking. So you enjoy your national independence. I, as a Trump and MAGA person, do not want to add, unless if it's Alberta, right? Or what's the Republican one with a shitload of oil? Those people are all right. But the rest of you sick, demonically possessed, fucking weirdos, you enjoy your nationalist, like, demonic Slanesh, whatever the fuck you got going on up there. Again, I don't know if it's the cold weather that's, like, melted your brains, or your pineal gland has been frozen over, and you don't understand and can't witness evil when you see it, but that's what this is. Just in a general sense. So, if you don't like it, you don't like it, leave a dislike, and leave a comment down below. I guess subscribe if you haven't, or subscribe if you agree. And yeah, holy free holies. And there's additional links in the description down below. Glad I don't live in Canada, because if you're a child in Canada, boy, yikes. And it's only fitting that your prime minister has the name of Mark Carney, because he is a fucking sick, twisted carnival joke of the devil. Can't convince me otherwise. Anyway, see you next time. God bless. Have a good one, and pray for Canada, because